Okay, sales training today. As always, I wish I'd put in the time and I was more of a plan person, less of an improv person, and had written everything down, but I dig this and I hope I can get it through. Because I'm going to point out, I think the greatest salesperson in the history of the world just might be, if not the Buddha, whoever supposedly wrote down what the Buddha said. And I have no reason not to believe that the oral tradition, everything flowing through and from, is identical, exact, and incredible. And I'm going to try to support that with my best job. There's so much meat in this thing. I should have taken a month, torn it down, paired it, written, gone back, rewritten. I couldn't. I was too excited, so I had to jump straight into it today. So I'm sitting through a little factoid pops up on an online deal, and I look it up, and it says anniversary of like however many thousand years, 100 years, whatever, from the writing of the Diamond Sutra, the oldest known written text in the world. That kind of stuff thrills me. I'm very into old books. I'm very into old text. It's one of my issues. I won't even, who knows, who cares. But I was like, holy cow, I mean, this is older than our oldest written records of the Bible, of any of them. I mean, we're talking, this is by hundreds of years, the oldest known continuous written document. Now pause for a moment and think of something. How important does something have to be that's protected to that level? Think of the effort we go to protect our Declaration of Independence, our Constitution of the United States, because of the value. How big a deal does it have to be? So I got intrigued, and as y'all know, I like religion. I like to study religion and other things as well. So I figured, what the heck? I'll pull it up and read it. So I pull up and read the Diamond Sutra. And I'm not telling you to or not to. No way am I trying to encourage. I'm also not trying to discourage. It's there if you want to read it online. It's largely moronic fluff. I tell you the truth, the basic context of it is classic re-envisioned transcendental meditation stuff that was big in the 60s, 70s. It gives some nonsensical things, sit there and ponder on it like it's genius. And the weird thing is your mind actually kind of goes to intriguing places and ideas, so it has some value. But to imply that it in and of itself is some deep thought that after a while you're like, oh, I get, is moronic. It's, you know, the sound of a puppy breathing and bleh. I will give an example because I cut part of this out. This is basically, you've got the great leader, the Buddha, sitting there, and he's got all his followers, and his number one follower steps up and says, how do we make this even better? And that's the whole thing as you flow through the 27 chapters. And this is just a small excerpt of his example. He goes, I'm going to give you the Diamond Sutra, the big one. Furthermore, Subhuti, if I pronounce incorrectly, I'm not trying to insult anyone, what I have attained in total enlightenment is the same as what all others have attained. It is undifferentiated, regarded neither as high state nor a low state. It is wholly independent of any definite or arbitrary conceptions of individual self, other selves, living beings, or a universal self. Pausing for a moment, I feel like I'm reading a phenomenal Dilbert cartoon because it almost sounds like you just said so much. In reality, you used a bunch of management buzzwords that didn't say anything. Going on. And I'm not insulting. I'm calling this genius. Absolute brilliance, genius. So if I sound caustic, it's because I'm trying to make sure you focus on the sales concept of it, not the plus or the minus of what is in. I'm saying I got somebody that just said blah, 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 and made it one of the most powerful, meaningful documents in the history of the stinking world. Stop and think what you had to do that. This is incredible. This is sales at a level I will never get to, and it was done by somebody thousands of years ago. I'm just amazed. So as it goes on finishing this, because I need to give you the subtext. Subhuti, when someone is selflessly charitable, they should also practice being ethical by remembering that there is no distinction between oneself and the selfhood of others. Thus, one practices charity by giving not only gifts, but through kindness and sympathy. Practice kindness and charity without attachment, and you can become fully enlightened. I do want to pause for a moment and state, you will find the most powerful sales process tends to be positive. This is a positive thing. You can say this you can do it by Jesus. You can do it by, there's many great teachers, leaders, philosophers, religious, all that you could attribute this to, and none of us would doubt that our religious leader had said that. Because there is a beauty to it. There is a universal truth to it. You know what? No universal truth. The universal truth is love. Why do Christians say, now I personally believe because it's true, but what is the core essence of Christian religion or supposed to be? It's that God is what? What is God? It is very defined. God is love. Simply put. Thus, it carries over and covers all. Same on this one. You want to go through charity, goodness, and it's all people are equal. There's a beauty to that. And I tell you true, the greatest sales in the world is not fear-based. And it's not high leverage. And it's not just for your benefit and get them. It is actually good and positive and helpful for all. That is an absolute truth. And if you're not selling that product, find a way that that product is and find a way to get there. It is good things that are sold and continue to sell and continue to be sold and continue to work. Now follow through with me. Subhuti, what I just said, because this is where it gets crazy, because that part was kind of easy. What I just said about kindness does not mean that when someone is being charitable, they should hold on to arbitrary conceptions about kindness. For kindness is, after all, only a word, and charity needs to be spontaneous and selfless, done without regard for appearances. So we just said blah, 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 blah. Then we said something honestly very positive about kindness and charity. And then we said, but kindness and charity really don't mean anything. If somebody thinks they are, they're kind of lost in confusion. Like, blah. In other words, I've just guaranteed that I've got you at a certain level on a mystical path. I have got you with it's good. There's nothing to be upset about. There's nothing, oh, somebody's trying to get money from you or harsh or whatever. It's just good, kind, love, blah, blah, happy, happy, fun times. But I made it confusingly, I don't want to admit I didn't get that, so it must have been brilliant, Emperor's New Clothes level. And then I made it so mumbo, you can't do anything but just go, all right. So where am I going here? What is my path of this? I'm going to back up because there's a section, and here's what's incredible. This thing is back and forth, 27, 28 chapters. And we're going back and forth, and basically what it's saying is mumbo-jumbo stuff, confusion, and then it goes with the hook. It goes with it makes you unique and the reward. Unique, and so there's a party that starts to get in there. Even I'm starting to sit there and go, by the time I've read this 27 times, I even had a moment of going, man, I wonder if I should study this more, because I mean the benefit, the blessings you get if you can just pass. And I'm like, wait a minute, dude, it was so well done. Check out the brilliance of this path of a sales. So Subhuti, we can summarize by saying that the merit and virtue of this sutra is inconceivable, incalculable, and boundless. Pause for a moment. I am giving you something that is immeasurable, inconceivable, incalculable, and boundless. That is a huge statement. You want some of that, don't you? You want to follow some of that. I mean, come on. That is big. The Buddha has declared this teaching for the benefit of initiates on the path to enlightenment. We all want to be enlightened. He has declared it for the benefit of initiates on the path to nirvana. In our culture, we call it heaven. That's a nice place to end up. If there is someone capable of receiving, practicing, reciting, and sharing this sutra with others, the Buddha will see and know that person, and he or she will receive immeasurable, incalculable, and boundless merit and virtue. I gotta pause for a moment. That is the ultimate sales hook. We're done. Turn off the tape. You don't have to listen to me anymore. What did I just do? What did he just do in that sentence? It is huge. It is incalculable. It is immeasurable. This is the biggest thing ever. Wow. Now, he made you special. If you can get there, if you're willing to listen, if you stay with me, you're special. You're rare. If you are the person that is capable of receiving, practicing, reciting, and sharing this, well, I want to be special. And I just heard this, so I guess I'm capable. I just received it, so evidently I'm capable of receiving it, practicing and reciting. Well, shoot, surely I can do that. Surely I can memorize this and put it out there. Holy cow, I'm special. Oh, come on. I just fed it to you and you just ate it all, and boom, I know what you just committed to. You just committed to sharing it, because otherwise what you just ate ain't true. Oh, golly, and then the big hook, then the closer, because I just sold you, but I'm not going to have you sold. I'm going to make sure you stay closed. I got to keep this bound. I'm going to keep fulfilling. I know you got to fertilize that plant once it's in the ground, because where do we go with here? That person, he will receive immeasurable, incalculable, and boundless merit and virtue. Not only the big, but now you're going to get it, give it, oh my goodness. I not only get to know part of the story, I'm not only special enough that I might be able to receive this, but I'm getting immeasurable and boom. Get me some of that. And it just keeps going. Such a person is known to be carrying the supreme enlightenment attained by the Buddha. Oh my goodness, you're carrying the special. Oh, why, Subhuti, if a person is satisfied with lesser teachings than those that I present here, if he or she is still caught up in the idea of a self, a person, a living being, a universal self, then that person would not be able to listen to, receive, recite, or explain this sutra to others. Oh, come on! We just went through that whole thing, and now I'm following it up with, of course, if you're not able to, well, did you go to elementary school, let alone junior high or high school? What hurts more, being left out? People will fight harder to not be left out than they will to be included. So if the first sales hook didn't get there, the second one for the fat, lazy guy sitting in the corner is like, oh, heck no. I ain't going to be left out, dude. So now he's jumping in. And then the challenge for the fat, athletic, or whatever guy that has to be challenged. Every personality type is killed in 5 sentences from how many hundreds of thousands or whatever years ago. The one that only rises up if challenged, well, he won't even be able to explain it. Oh, I can explain it. Oh, I can receive it. You don't think I can? Oh, heck no. God, it's all right there. Furthermore, Subhuti, if a good man or good woman who accepts, upholds, and reads and recites this sutra is disdained or slandered, if they are despised or insulted, it means that in prior lives they committed evil acts that result now suffering the fruits of their actions. When their prior life's evil acts have finally been dissolved and extinguished, he or she will attain the supreme clarity of the most fulfilled and awakened mind. Oh my goodness. So if you've now, every personality type has been brought in. Ward, punish, Brahmas, bold, have, get. Everything's been sucked in. Challenge. Now, if it's hard, it's not your fault. It's something you did in the past. And by the way you redeem that is you go ahead and move forward, because that erases that bad act. So you just move further up. And on top of that, once you erase those, then you're going to have the supreme mind that even understands this even more, so that now you're even more special, even more able to. In other words, a way to overcome the obstacle. We've got it in our Christian religion, don't we? Suffered all joy, my brethren, when you encounter hardship. It's just packed right there. It's fantastic, fantastic stuff. To give you an idea, we go down 10 chapters later, this one little paragraph, and I'll finish here. Subhuti, if a person collected treasure as high as 3,000 of the highest mountains and gave them all to others, their merit would not be less than what they would accrue to another person who simply observed and studied this sutra and out of kindness explained it to others. The latter person would accumulate hundreds of lifetimes of merit, hundreds of thousands of millions of times the merit. There is no conceivable comparison. That said in about 6 different ways, is said 6 or 7 different times in this deal. In other words, what is the sutra? Blah, 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 jibber jabber. But it's blah, 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 jibber jabber that ties you to our following. You to our religion. We got challenge, we got presentation, we have everything, but at the end of it, it is nonstop promise. If you just do this simple thing, it's immeasurable. It's incalculable. The blessing you get, the receiving you get, the what you get. It is the greatest sales training, sales application I've ever seen. It's nonstop, every basic concept being implied. Now, how does this fit to yours? Remember to constantly be reselling. Remember constantly to be including. Remember to constantly make it a challenge and yet make it easy. And make it seem like the hard times come, but that's just how you get to the good stuff. And you got to keep remembering it's there. And remember to constantly be reselling. You want to be part of the team. You want to be part of the reward. Positive, positive, happy, 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 happy. Don't feed the negatives. Guys, why was this told and told and told to the point it was the first written document that was so treasured it was kept protected? Was it the incredible depth of knowledge? Or is it nonstop generation after generation after generation after generation after generation trying to get that reward? He was not selling depth of wisdom. He was not selling heavy knowledge. He was selling membership and reward. All it was reward. And it was an abstract enough reward, they kept coming. Some of you that wonder when you're trying to motivate people, beware of falling into the human habit of round numbers and easy sets and making the reward a locked set goal done. If you make it layered on layered on layer and abstract, God, that's beautiful. That is so beautiful. I challenge you, feel free to read it. You might find it intriguing, but if you do, at least the first time for me, if not the first, the second, read it as a sales training manual. Sit there and think about what this guy did and how that promise just kept. Guys, it's today. There's a deal that popped up because I looked at this, because you know how polluted the internet is at hunting you down. There's some guy in California that just in the last week or so put it to song. All right? Do you think he did that for any reason other than if you're able to give some share and pass it off to another and they understand it, it is the thousands of millions of times of merit? No, I think maybe he was going for that reward because he bought the promise. Still selling. Dang. It's awesome. Hope you enjoyed it. Obviously, I did. Thanks for listening, guys.